So, there are tons of super expensive, hard to find bottles out there, many of which have a younger brother that's maybe a lot easier to find, maybe a lot less money.
Yeah.
And today, we are going to do a blind tasting and find out, is the premium version really better? And if you want to find out, then stick around. Before we get started, we have to take a moment to thank our patrons.
Yeah, of course. You guys are the real MVPs.
The real MVPs, and that is why Jake is here.
Yeah, Jake's an MVP.
Jake's a goat, to be honest. Greatest of all time. And if you're a GOAT member, you have some additional benefits. One of which is you get to appear in an episode.
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah, so look at him here.
He's not Jake from State Farm. He's Jake from Tyler.
Yeah, he's from
Hawkins.
Yeah,
close to Tyler.
Not from Stranger Things.
Isn't
It's in
that
Texas.
the upside down with the Stranger
That's Hawkins,
Things?
Indiana.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang it.
We're Hawkins, Texas.
So close, so
if you
close.
think that's upside down, you should see Hawkins, Texas.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's crazy there.
It's wild.
Yeah, they got whiskey and everything. All right, so Patreons, we have to thank you. And here's why. Bourbon Real Talk is about a lot more than just teaching you about whiskey, although we are going to do that. But there are tens of thousands, if not millions of people at this point that have benefited from the mission of this channel, of community, education, bringing people together. Unfortunately, we don't monetize off of everything that we do, and it does take a lot of our time. So we have to say thank you to the people that are committed enough to actually make a monthly contribution so that this becomes possible. And it's not just about the contribution. We have a lot of member benefits. There's in-person meetups. We've got single barrel selections. We got distillery takeovers, massive discounts on merchandise. We have virtual bottle shares. So there's a lot going on. If you are interested, you love this channel, you want to support, click the link in the description below. Go find out whether or not this might be a good program for you. And for those of you out there that are actually supporting us, we truly appreciate it. Yeah. We want to say thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. So here's the sitch. Okay. So I have gone through my extensive whiskey collection, and I have found 5 different blinds. Okay. Where there is a premium version, and there is a common, easy to find version. And I tried to make it so that they were all very close in proof.
Yep.
Because sometimes the premium versions are they're cash strength, and the non-premium version is, it's going to be easy to tell the difference between those two. And so in this blind, I don't think that anything is more than 2% ABV off. Wow. Everything else should be pretty close. And so what we're going to do is each 2 glasses represent a blind. And so you're going to have to pick which is your favorite from each one of these blinds. And then at the end, we're going to have Chrissy Lynn come in and do the big reveal. And we're going to count it up and see what percentage of the time we thought that the premium version was actually worth it.
Yeah. And just so, because there are haters out there, Randy is the single blind. He knows what the options are.
Yeah.
And he knows the options. He doesn't know where they're at in the glasses.
Yeah.
Jake and I are double blind. We don't even know what the options are.
Correct.
And we definitely don't know which options would be in which glass.
Right.
So this isn't rehearsed. There is no script. We don't know what the answers are. We're just strictly tasting, and which one is our favorite, that's the one we vote for.
They don't know if it's rye, could be rum, could be cognac. They have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you guys ready to get started?
Let's get started.
All right, let's
now,
do it.
are we going to go in any particular order or just kind of go
however you want to do it. Spend as much time as you want sniffing, tasting. Wes is going to fast forward through all this part, and it's going to look like Benny Hill. Yeah,
it's going to be cool music, too.
It's going to be cool. It's
Premium and common.
Common, yeah.
Kind of like premium bourbon drinkers and a common.
That is so. You're the GOAT. What are you talking about?
You're the premium.
Yeah.
All right, let's rock it.
What whiskey will blow your mind that isn't even bourbon and you've probably never heard of? JT Meleck. It comes from a crawfish and rice farm in Louisiana. It's one of the few ground-to-glass distilleries in the U.S., and it's amazing. How did a crawfish and rice farmer become the producer of one of the best whiskeys I've ever tasted?
We're gonna lose money on the rice, so we turned it into whiskey.
Mike's family are 6th-generation rice farmers in Louisiana, and the thought of not growing rice was unbearable. So when rice prices dropped, they decided to grow rice anyway and turn it into whiskey. I know what you're thinking. Randy, it's rice whiskey. How could it be good? This isn't some half sake. I sent out blind sample packs with 5 other highly regarded allocated bourbons, and when people didn't know what they were drinking, they liked the JT Meleck more. This whiskey surprised me. Someone brought a bottle over to my house, and it blew my mind.
Where'd you get the whiskey?
Yeah, where'd you get the whiskey?
I brought it to Randy's house.
No, you didn't.
Yeah!
I thought I was the bad cop.
No, I'm the bad cop.
You're both bad.
So if you want a mind-blowingly good whiskey at an affordable price, pick up a bottle of JT Meleck right now. And if there's a vodka lover in your life, don't overlook the vodka. Unlike most vodkas, theirs actually tastes good. To find a shipping retailer or a local retailer near you, click the link in the video description. Clicking the link lets them know that we sent you, so they know to keep advertising with us. Cheers.
All right, Chrissy Lynn.
All right, let's do the big reveal.
Now,
so
Chrissy's going to set these out like the
the
front and back, right?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
bottle?
So
Okay.
you'll set them on the table so that we can tell which one. Put the bottle closest to us that was closest to us in the glass. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Let's do it. Okay,
This is
round
the first
one.
one over here?
I recognize that.
All right.
Wild Turkey
Oh, and the 12.
and the 12-year.
This is
Okay.
like the Japan release, right?
Yeah, that's for Japan. It's 12-year age stated.
Okay.
Wild Turkey was releasing and still releases age-stated products in Japan because they kind of kept them alive during the Bourbon Dark Ages.
Okay.
And there's a lot of demand for the age-stated Wild Turkey products over there. But I'm just curious, what did each of you pick? Did you pick the premium or the common?
Common.
Really?
Yeah.
I picked the 101.
I picked the 101 as well.
Now, if the 102 was there, I probably would have picked it, but the
Yeah.
101 was by far, to me, just the easier drink.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
there was no question for me. I preferred the 101, and that just goes to show you people. Just because it's premium, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily better.
Nope.
So that was
number
round
one.
one.
So
what
far,
do we-
we're one for one on
one for
comments.
one on comments. Let's see what we got. Round two.
Oh no.
Oh, Buffalo Trace,
the Big
Smash
Daddy.
Bill 1.
Okay, so that's what I requested for my 1 ounce sample.
And
Well,
you just had it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so if you're a aficionado or goat tier member of Patreon, twice a year you get to select a 1 ounce sample from my collection, and he just filled out his form and requested this, and then when he got here to redeem his other benefit of being able to be in an episode, he told me this is what he picked, and I was like, don't say nothing, because I knew I was giving it to him later, so you're gonna have to pick something else. But
To make matters worse on that, I didn't choose that in the blind. I actually went.
what did you choose?
I chose the common.
Okay. I chose the premium, and I'm glad I did because this is a premium I would choose every single time.
yes,
And actually, I'm extra proud. I put BT on here.
Yeah.
Buffalo Trace.
And I also chose the premium on this one,
Nice.
which is good because I tell people this is my third favorite bourbon of all
Yes,
time.
it is
And
mine.
if I didn't call that one, it would be embarrassing.
That would be embarrassing.
I've embarrassed myself before, though. That's fine. What do we got for
That's
round
what
three?
blinds are for.
That's what they're for embarrassment.
Okay, that's a pretty good bottle right there. What do
So we got 4 Roses limited edition
Okay.
and 4 Roses single barrel. So the single barrels are cash strength, and there are 10 different recipes with 4 Roses because there's 2 mash bills, 5 yeast strains, and the limited edition is a blend of many of the different recipes. But obviously the single barrels are just one. But the proof on these were effectively the same.
Yeah.
And which did you pick, the premium or the common?
I picked the one that you can find a lot more often than the limited, and that is the single rose. The 4 roses, not single.
No, it's not single.
Single barrel.
Single barrel.
4 roses. Yeah, that's what I chose.
What'd you pick?
All right, I'm 3 for 3. Common.
Common. I also picked the common on that one. Which
Wow.
that one hurts a little because
Yeah.
4 Roses limited edition I say is like my 4 or 5 favorite bourbon.
Well, now you're going to have to move the single barrel up there to
Well,
be 4 or 5.
single barrels sometimes come in and wreck shop.
Yeah, they did.
Ask
Come on in here and do that.
McKenna Tenier about their single barrel variants and how they were the best bourbon in the world, and then you get it and you're like, oh, it's all right.
Okay.
All right, what do we got for number 4? Number 4, Elijah Craig
This is
lineup.
the one I was. Yes, and
All
I
right.
picked the right one.
Okay, this was the toughest one for me.
All right.
Far.
And I hear you've heard over the years here on the BRT world that EC18 for me gets a little bit of hate. Okay, it's just overaged, real thin. And so when I tasted these two, I knew they were Elijah Craig, and I'm like,
He did
don't,
know.
Do not pick the wrong one. Do not pick the wrong one.
I was not sure, but then when he said it, I was like, I'm pretty sure he's right about this, and he turned out to be right.
And thankfully, I chose the small batch.
I also chose the small batch.
So for the first time, I did choose premium, but it was really tough.
Really close.
Yeah.
It was really close.
They were very tough today. They tasted very similar today.
All right, what do we got for round 5?
Okay, there's my dog right there. All right. Which
So-
was this? 15? All right.
So
15.
we got Knob Creek 9 versus Knob Creek 15. Proof's the same. Ages 6 years different. And what did you pick? The 9 or the 15?
I picked the 9.
9 or 15?
9.
I also picked 9. So that goes to show it. So you picked premium one time.
I only picked premium one time, and I could have gone either way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you picked premium once.
Once.
I
Only
picked
you
premium
said it.
once, which means that 80% of the time in blinds, you would potentially prefer the easier to find,
Yeah.
less expensive, less valuable bottle.
And your wallet will be thankful.
My
Yeah.
wife is already, when she watches this, it's gonna be thinking.
It's
me
money
most
money
already.
well spent. Money well spent.
And
yeah.
money well saved.
Yeah, so that just goes to show a lot of these premium bottles, they're great when you want to create an experience or create
Right.
something unique for somebody else to try. But in terms of having a quality drinking experience yourself at home, the common bottles, they do the trick. They're great.
Yeah. Well, Jake, thanks for
Yeah.
being a part of the show today, man.
Thanks for
Coming all that
having
way.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
Coming 2 hours away to
Yeah.
hang out with us today.
That's
Appreciate
well
that.
worth it. Well worth it.
So what attracted you to Bourbon Real Talk? You are a top tier goat.
So I'm a pastor, and I serve at a church in East Texas. My job at the church is to get people connected into community, whether it be small groups, Bible study. But my main focus at the church is to make sure that people don't isolate. We find that when people struggle in their spirituality, 99.9% of the time they isolate.
Yeah.
It makes matters worse. So when I found Bourbon Real Talk and discovered that your entire mission around whiskey was bringing people together in community, that was a mission I felt like I could get behind.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
And that kind of brings us to the summary of the show philosophy. We are about bringing people together. And that became a personal goal of mine when I lost my younger brother, Sean, to suicide in 2014. And kind of reviewing what happened in the aftermath, I saw that he had lost that connection to the social network around him that would normally be his support. And I started to also notice at that time that whiskey seems to cross boundaries. Mm-hmm. It seems to bring people together, even people who would normally not think that the other person was a good target to make friends with because they have different ideological views and they think they disagree too much. But I started seeing that when people get together to drink whiskey and they talk about what really matters to people, there's a lot of common ground and people could form those connections. So it's part of the reason why we started the channel, and it's also part of the reason why we started Bourbon Real Talk Community, which as of this recording is a little over 27,000 members strong, and we really do have a true community feel in there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Everybody's welcome. We don't care about race, religion, sexual orientation, any of that stuff. If you enjoy brown spirits and you want to get involved in a community and connected to others, we want you there. And that's played out. I mean, we've been doing it since January of 2022. And we are seeing, in-person meetup groups happening, connections online, virtual tastings. Like, people are really forming connections. And when we looked out there to see what was available, we saw in some other enthusiast communities kind of a negative side where there were people that were showing a lot of hate online. And one, we created Bourbon Real Talk Community so that there wouldn't be that hate. But two, I realized that if people can hate you online, there's nothing that keeps me from loving you online, because if they can hate, we can love. Mm-hmm. And that's why we end every podcast the same way, and that's this. If you woke up this morning and you're unsure whether or not anyone loved you, just know that we love you. And we'll see you next time on Bourbon Real Talk. Cheers.
I knew I was a bigger Bourbon Real Talk fan than you.
How do you know that?
Well, because I don't just use a Prideful Goat, Glenn. I got an official Bourbon Real Talk tumbler.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I got this Bourbon Real Talk lanyard to carry my whiskey glass in.
Oh, well, speaking of whiskey glasses, do you have one of these?
No, I don't.
Rocks glass.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, official.
Well, I love my wife, and I bought her this official Whiskey Wife flask from Bourbon Real Talk.
Well, that's cute and everything, but I got my wife one of these.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
you can just add your own liquor, and it's an actual cocktail right there in a jar.
Me and my wife like to make cocktails, so we got this simple syrup off the website.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you and your wife have one of these? This is an official sticker. You can only get these on the website.
No, but I do have these official coasters that have the Bourbon Real Talk logo on them, and I'm representing.
Well, while you're representing those little coasters of yours, I've got an aroma kit.
Do you?
Yeah, so I can smell literally everything in bourbon. Everything.
Well, I don't have that, but I do have this sample box that I keep all my samples in because I'm part of the community and I share samples.
Yeah, but do you have Glen toppers that are officially Bourbon Real Talk?
I don't have that, but I do have this large whiskey carrying case for my glasses so that I don't break them.
See, I knew you had that. That's why I have the smaller version, okay? It packs more easily into your suitcase. Don't have to mess with that big old thing, okay?
Suitcase, that's for lamos. Check this thing out. I have a Bourbon Real Talk bottle carrying bag. You can't beat that.
I don't know if I can because...
And on top of that, I have a Bourbon Real Talk t-shirt. I'm the bigger fan.
Oh, I can beat that. Is it extra schmedium?
No, I don't have an extra medium.
Ha! Extra schmedium.
You might be the bigger fan. You win.
I knew it.
So whether you're a Bourbon Real Talk super fan or simply looking for quality whiskey swag, head over to bourbonrealtalk.com today.